All right. So something that gets asked pretty frequently in the office is how do we manage what we're going to take to help manage some of this pain and help some of the healing and things like that. And so wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the things that I generally see some really good results with, and also what the research is showing us through this field. Um, One of the really cool side effects of this new, I don't want to say war on opioids, but this new increased awareness of what's happening with our people and pain management, and kind of the over prescription of some of these narcotic and very addictive medications, is we're starting to see a very large impact of people beginning to research these non-pharmaceutical treatments, which is awesome for us because it gives us the ability to see what are some of these things that have been around for decades or hundreds of years that really do have a big impact on how we can help our patients and how you can help yourself. The really nice thing about these is the majority of them have very small side effects, which is always a great thing. Some of the things we'll mention on here, and I will be sure to post this document with some links to places where you can talk about dosages and talk about common side effects and things like that. This is a disclaimer here at the beginning. Do not take this as a Dr. Doss says I need to go take XYZ. This is a broad summary of all the things that we could talk about. Each individual one needs to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis by your healthcare provider. So don't just run out and buy all of these things. We need to make sure that they're right for you, okay? So let's go ahead and dive on in. Being a sports med and what I like to believe is an evidence-based chiropractor, I try to make sure that everything I do is based in research. Okay, so each of these things that I'm bringing up have all got very good research showing behind them, with the exception of one, and I will point that out. The reason I included it is because there is just so much clinical evidence showing really positive things for it, and I didn't want to leave it off this list. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on in. The first one I want to talk about is a mixture of turmeric, bromelain, and boswellia. Okay, so bromelain is the stuff that you find in pineapples. Turmeric is a spice. Boswellia is its own herb. All right, so this has been shown to be an incredibly powerful anti-inflammatory and pain reliever. There was a study done about a year ago that showed that it is better than all of the over-the-counters. And then another study came out about 6 months ago that showed that it will actually meet the same pain relieving categories and a lot of the anti-inflammatory as some of the first-line prescription medications. So when you're looking at things that can harm your system or things that your body can handle a little bit better, this is a really good one to start with. Turmeric is a very powerful anti-inflammatory, and the mixture with bromelain and boswellia, it really, really has some cool effects with very minimal side effects. I know Natural Health Market here in Lubbock, they have one. Jimmy can help you out there, and they do a really good job of making sure that everything is good that's going into your body. The second one, magnesium. This one is talked about very widely, and the research is just getting bigger and bigger on this, and I love it because it's such a simple one to get a hold of. We're talking about pain reduction. We're talking about spasm breaking. We're talking about headaches, including migraines, which is huge. It's the reason I became a chiropractor is headaches, specifically migraines. And then the newest stuff that's coming out is kind of cool. It's non-musculoskeletal, so I'm not going to get into it too much. But some of this research is coming out showing that it helps treat depression, which is, I mean, we know the psychological effects of some of these medications that treat depression. And if something like magnesium that has such small negative side effects of it could potentially help out there, that is such a huge win for the community that deals with some of these very debilitating issues. And so I urge you to look a little bit deeper into it and talk to your healthcare provider about it. The next one, valerian root. We're going to keep this one short today, guys. I didn't want to go too in depth on it. Just wanted to give you my top 5, 6 things that I really like. Valerian root is one that I use on a common basis with me personally and and my patients. I actually use a product called Formula 303. We do carry it in the office. This is not a pitch for it, though. I've used it, and I've replaced pretty much all the over-the-counter stuff in my house with this. It is a mixture of valerian root, magnesium, and passion flower. Passion flower is a pain reducer. Magnesium, we just talked about all the effects there. And valerian root is a stress reliever, spasm reliever, and it can help with sleep. Okay, so what are the biggest things we have to look at when somebody is dealing with a musculoskeletal injury? What are things that hurt them? One of the things that hurt them very bad is not getting enough sleep. Our ability to sleep is where we recuperate. It's where we build our, it's where we lay down new fibers. It's where we allow our body to rest. It's where we allow our body to heal. If you're not getting sleep when you're undergoing care, you're only getting half the story. And so this mixture of those three has been very effective for me and my patient base. But the others, I mean, taking them singly has been shown to be very effective as well. The one caveat to this one, if you've ever been around valerian root before, when you open that bottle, it's going to smell like you're walking into a pretty nasty bathroom. So just kind of expect the Taco Bell smell. We want to make sure that we're not going too crazy on it, but it does have a very pungent odor that is normal. You didn't get a bad batch, okay? The ladies in the practice really like this one because as a spasm reliever for women that are on their cycle at that time of the month, this has been a very big help to a lot of women because it really helps mitigate some of those symptoms, kind of similar to like a Midol type thing. The next one, glucosamine, chondroitin, and MSM. Okay, so the research out there has been kind of hit or miss all over the place on this one. So we just want to kind of open it up and say glucosamine itself has some really good research behind it. Chondroitin by itself does not. The research that's shown benefit is chondroitin and glucosamine together. Okay, they're synergistic, they work together. The same thing with adding MSM into it. We're talking general joint health support, helps with osteoarthritis. Most of the research has been done in the knees, mainly because that's the quickest place that shows wear in an elderly population. The research showing that NSAIDs will work faster, but this mixture has a much lower risk of side effects and roughly the same effectiveness. So this is definitely one to talk to your orthopedist or any other provider that's dealing with arthritis pain. Omega-3, so these are your fish oils. This is huge for inflammation relief. If somebody is having chronic inflammatory things where the inflammation just continues to build around these injured areas, omega-3s can be a great tool to help deal with that. Like I said, I'm not going to dive into major non-musculoskeletal things, but it's been shown big results with heart disease and cholesterol imbalances. It's showing some really cool results with neurological health, with neurological deterioration disorders such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, things like that. So those are new and budding fields of research that I just can't wait to see what happens in them. The research is still pretty thin on it, but the early stuff is looking good. So we want to make sure that we're getting our omega-3s. Arnica and Devil's Claw. Devil's Claw has shown some really cool stuff for back pain in specific. I can't tell you exactly why back pain in specific it's showing better results there than others, but it is showing some pretty cool results with pain in specific for low back and chronic arthritis relief. Arnica is the one that I said that I wasn't gonna leave off the list. I have seen so much clinical evidence of people having great results with Arnica montana. But the research, and I've dived through the research, some of them are a little spotty, some of them I actually thought were pretty decent research, but it just didn't show the effect. But the overwhelming support in the clinic, I just couldn't leave it off this list for pain relief. The gel is really good for bruise healing and soreness. So you can kind of take that one hit or miss, but what I've seen in the practice is very beneficial. Here's my kind of list of things that everybody should be looking into. We're going to talk about a good multivitamin, omega-3s, and a probiotic. Okay, so let's dive into the multivitamin first. My personal favorite is Intramax. It's a liquid multivitamin made by Drucker Labs. It is a little bit more on the pricey side, but it literally has everything. It has your probiotics. It has some omega-3s. I'd like it to have a little bit more omega-3, but the bottle would be twice as big and probably twice as expensive. A good multivitamin, I think, is really good for everybody, but especially if you are incredibly picky on your diet, or if you're on a diet that doesn't change. If you stick with something where you're a chicken and rice guy or girl, and you might have the occasional piece of broccoli, you've got to make sure you're getting the rest of your supplements. If you have a wide variety of diet where you eat your colors and you get all the protein, you get all that kind of stuff, you could probably get away with not having a true big multivitamin. But unfortunately, in the American diet and with the depleting of nutrients in our soils and not getting the nutrients that we really want, a good multivitamin is a great way to go, and it's usually fairly inexpensive. Liquid is more absorbable. There's a lot of cases where tablets just never break down in our body. And we want to look for a wide array. We don't want something that just has 10 vitamins and it's just kind of sticking through there. We want to make sure we have a good source of minerals, vitamins, any herbal things that are in it are great. And we want to limit the artificial junk. So if you see a whole bunch of things that you can't spell or pronounce, probably not the one that you want to get. Omega-3s, we already talked about this one. The company that I really like is Nordic Naturals. It's probably been the most pure source that I've found. They last well. They don't have a major fishy taste. You can get them in oil or in tablets. And like I said, that's probably my favorite one because you don't end up burping up the omega-3s like some of them you do. And the last one, a good probiotic. Oh, there it went. A good probiotic is going to be hallmarked by two things. It's going to need to be refrigerated. So when you go to a store, you need to find one that has in the refrigerated section. These are living organisms. Sorry. These are living organisms. And at normal temperature, they're going to die off. Okay. And it's going to be in a dark bottle because they're generally pretty photosensitive as well. Probiotics have been shown to be incredibly effective in your gut health, which 60% of your immune system is in your gut. So if you are not taking care of your gut and your intestines, you're actually harming your immune system. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of that one. I know I kind of ran through these pretty quick, but you guys feel free to reach out, ask any questions. If you have something that I didn't touch on today, please ask. Tell me about it. Say, hey, you need to look into this more. If you look up on here, I've got the website up here. It's endurancechiro.com. Under the injury prevention tab, I will post up this little list of things, and I'll try to get a little bit more detail on it too. So if you have any questions, please reach out. Always love to hear from people, and if you have anything that I need to look into, please, I want to learn more just like everybody else does. So if you have any questions, please give me a call. And otherwise, live active, have fun, and try and stay injury free. We'll talk to you guys later.